This little lens packs a big punch. What's up guys, it's Tony here. Today I'm going to be talking about the Viltrox 25mm Autofocus f1.7 Air lens, which is for APS-C cameras such as Sony, Nikon and Fuji X. So before we get into the specs and the review of it all, you might be wondering why would I get a lens like this, or what makes this lens special over the others at this point in time. So Viltrox have introduced a 25mm lens that is equivalent to around a 38mm on a full frame camera. So the reason why this is really interesting is because they're introducing a lens that is kind of like an all-rounder focal length that is great to use as your everyday carry lens. However, they're providing a much larger aperture with it, which is really enticing when you compare it to the other lenses. What's really interesting is when you look at this table, it's actually pretty impressive the differences in the lenses that are quite similar to this one on the market at the moment. So obviously you have the Viltrox at the top, you have the Sigma 23mm f1.4, Sony Zeiss 24mm f1.8, and the Zeiss Batis 25mm f2. So they're all kind of within the similar range of focal length. However, you can see where the big differences lie is in its weight and more so in its cost. The cost of the Viltrox lens by far beats any of the other lenses on the market at the moment by a huge margin. So you're probably wondering, is there any compromises for a lens that is this small? First things first is how incredibly lightweight it is. At 170 grams, this thing is tiny and incredibly convenient. Just being able to bring it with me, it just weighs nothing, and the size of it as well in relation to how well it performs. Yet, it's built quite well, to be honest. Like, the focus ring is really smooth, it's plastic, the whole thing is plastic, but it doesn't feel like cheap plastic, and it feels quite robust and heavy as well. So considering that it's a plastic build, it feels quite premium. I mean, it even comes with a lens hood and a carry pouch, so I think that's quite premium for the price that you're paying. Particularly when I combine this with my Sony ZV-E10, it is an incredibly small package. And what's even better is I can even use this lens on my full frame Sony a7C II in the APS-C mode for photos and even for videos due to it having a larger megapixel. So it's quite a versatile lens for its size. So I'm very impressed in that respect. It's also advertised as having a very fast and reliable autofocus, and I found that to be pretty true. With the Sony system in particular, it is very compatible, meaning that I'm able to see the facial detection and eye recognition quite well with no problems whatsoever, as well as the fact that when I'm focusing on different subjects or different areas really quick, it is able to respond pretty quickly to that as well. So I'm very happy with how it's performing. There may be a slight focus sound that you may hear, but it doesn't seem to happen all the time. So once again, that's something that you may not even notice and that I wouldn't really call a problem at all. In terms of the focus breathing for video footage, it's quite minimal. You can notice it a slight bit, as you can see in the footage here, but it's not something that is particularly too bad considering the size and price of this lens. But my favorite part about this lens is its large aperture. For its size, it is able to perform incredibly well in low light conditions, especially for an APS-C camera where you usually need to bump up the ISO more than you would need for like a full frame system. It is able to allow more light into the camera, meaning that you get better image quality and video footage quality as well. Not only that, but the focal length combined with the larger aperture, you're able to create that really cinematic feeling look in the video footage, as well as that background separation that you get in your portrait photography as well. So it's very versatile in that sense. Other than that, the image quality is pretty impressive. I'm not going to go into the pixel peeping because other reviewers can do that. I'm just focused on the on-hand experience, and for me, I've had no issues with the image quality. The vignetting is minimal, barely noticeable. I mean, that's pretty much it. There's not much more to the lens. It's a prime lens and it is small, but it functions beautifully. Is it worth the money? I mean, as you saw in the table that I showed before, compared to anything else on the market right now, it completely blows the others out of the water in terms of its cost for the performance that it has. So if you're an APS-C camera user or even a full frame camera user that's looking for a small prime lens that is able to perform quite well at a larger aperture, it's pretty much a no-brainer why you would choose this lens. If you like what you see, like this video and comment down below if you're planning to get this lens, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.